Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Tech Banter. My name is Ankur. I'm a tech professional based out of Seattle.
Hello everyone, I'm Vishal. I'm a software engineer in one of the big tech companies and I'm also based in Seattle. So Ankur, what is the topic for today?
Today's topic is what the entire tech world is discussing. We just had the Apple WWDC this week, so we are going to talk about the Vision Pro.
When I saw the demo of Vision Pro, to be honest, it felt like the world is going to change from this point.
Yeah, I also thought that we are witnessing a very unique moment in history. I would compare it to the launch of the original Macintosh that happened 40 years ago in January of 1984 when Steve Jobs unveiled the Macintosh to everybody. And then in 2007, almost 16 years back to the date, it was also in June of 2007 when Steve Jobs launched the first iPhone. And then the launch of Vision Pro also seemed like a similar moment. It seemed like we were witnessing a history and a totally new kind of device. Monday, 5th of June, 2023, Tim Cook launched the Apple Vision Pro. Yeah, most of us are pretty mind blown looking at the device. So I'm very excited to talk about it today.
So before we dive into the discussion of Vision Pro, right? I will like to ask you a question. What is your drink today?
Oh, yes. I am going sober today. I just have coffee with me. I think I
Nice.
need a little bit of energy. This has been a pretty tiring week for me. So I'm just getting some caffeine into my system. What
Cool.
about you?
So today I have something called Touchdown Punch.
Oh, wow. What is
It's
that?
that punch water, add vodka to it, some little bit of lime in it, and ice. That's it.
Sounds
So,
like a perfect summer drink.
yes, actually, summer is starting here,
Yeah,
so
it's
it
quite
feels
hot.
like yeah, trying to get ready for.
That's
Cool.
a good choice.
Have cheers, Ankur.
Yeah. Cheers, Vishal. My initial thoughts watching the demo was, first of all, I thought it was a very well done demo, right? Even though it was a demo, as a viewer, I felt like I was actually experiencing the device. And that's difficult to do. It's not just like a familiar experience for them to show in the demo, right? It's a totally new type of experience. But I think the way the demo was recorded, the way they showed everything was brilliant. So it kind of helped me envision what the experience would seem like. So I was very impressed after the demo, and I also sent you a text message after I watched it, right? That I was like super impressed. And then
Yeah.
obviously Apple is not launching it immediately, so I watched quite a lot of videos from the actual tech journalists who were present in the WWDC, and they got to actually experience the device firsthand. And almost unanimously, everybody said that the experience exceeded whatever expectations they had of the device. So that says something for a device that is going to be released 6 months later. So that means the device experience is still not polished enough to be released to the public. But when the journalists are experiencing it, they are saying that they are just blown, and it is very difficult to find a fault in the device, right? From whatever they are experiencing. That to me says a lot. So yeah, I was also super impressed. In terms of the hardware of the Apple Pro, I think there is no other device in the market which can even come close to the kind of hardware prowess this device has, right? Few specs that the device has. It has 12 cameras. So not one, but two, but 12 cameras, five sensors. So there is a LiDAR sensor to evaluate the depth of different objects in the room that you are sitting or standing in. There are sensors for measuring true depth to really understand the depth of your face, your facial features. Then you have six microphones. to capture the audio and the noise around you. You have optical inserts from Carl Zeiss. If, let's say, you have prescription glasses, you cannot just directly wear this device. You have to get special inserts which should fit the shape of your face, and then you put those inserts in the headset, and that's how you experience if you have any type of prescription glasses. Then it has two processors. There is the M2 processor, and then there is the R1 chip, which is specifically designed for the headset, which helps in extremely fast processing. So there is almost negligible lag from capturing the image in front of you to actually showing it to you, right? So we actually did a episode a couple of weeks back on the whole augmented and virtual reality experience, and one of the things that we discussed there was the whole fatigue of using such a VR device, right? People feel a lot of headache or nauseous after using it for some time. And that is mainly because of the lag between what the device is seeing and what you are seeing or what you are actually experiencing, right? So Apple is saying that basically there will be just 12 milliseconds of lag, right? Which will make sure that the whole experience that you are having will be great. So they're saying that there won't be any kind of fatigue or nausea when you experience it. So yeah, so the device in terms of its hardware is just mind blowing. So Apple apparently filed 5,000 patents in the development of this headset. So you can imagine the kind of technology that's in this device.
Agreed. So when I saw from the hardware perspective, one thing stood out very clear to me, right? It has a outward facing screen. That's a big change from what we have seen in the previous headsets, right? There is no outward facing screen in previous headsets. This outward screen is basically just so that you are connected to the other person, right, who is surrounding you. Another thing is I found was if you see the speakers, right,
Yeah.
they are perfectly positioned so that you will not miss any sound, right? The way they are positioned, it's amazing. Uh, Even if you see the strap, right, the design of the strap itself is amazing. Like these are very small, minor things, but when you make a complete product, all these things count, right? You can have
Yeah.
more chips, more cameras, everything, but if it is not comfortable, right? If the
Yeah.
experience is not good, probably you will not like it then, right? So these are very small, and Apple is known for their design. And I'm pretty sure they have made sure every material, everything that goes into this is of premium quality. To be honest, on hardware side, I will give them 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Like no complaints at all on the hardware side.
Yeah. Yeah. Apple is actually positioning this as a spatial computer, right? And they are not saying that this is going to be like a device that accompanies your iPhone or iPad or MacBook. This is a new device in itself. This is a new computer. It has its own OS, the Vision OS, and it has its own unique gestures as well. Like the first thing is, I think it should be kind of a gesture that you can actually look at icons on the screen and they will automatically get in focus for you, right? Then you can just tap your fingers like this and it will select it. And then you can tap and flick and it will scroll if you are, let's say, looking at a document or a web page, right? You can pinch to zoom, and all this will happen either in AR or VR. And I was listening to some of the journalists talk about these gestures, and as per them, these gestures were extremely snappy. So even though this device is pre-release, it's going to come out only after 6 to 9 months. They were surprised by how amazing and fluid the gestures were, right? Like just looking at a particular icon or let's say the address bar or a text field was extremely accurate. So there is some very, very amazing technology that's driving all this. So I haven't heard about such good eye tracking or this kind of gestures in the air from any other current competitors or like incumbent players in the whole headset market, right? So those I
So,
think were very, very groundbreaking in terms of gestures.
so I will tell you what I loved about this gesture thing, right? They have given it a complete thought process, right? Like they have thought through the whole process in such a way that, like, you can use your eyes as a cursor. Your eyes
Yeah.
are your cursor. Like that's revolutionary, I will say, right?
Yeah.
So on the other hand, uh, when you say you have to tap, pinch, or just do a flick, right? Earlier headsets, you have to bring your hand in the focus of the sensors or cameras. In this headset, you can just keep it in a natural position, and
Yeah.
it will automatically track it,
Yeah.
right? So that's a very unique. You do, like, think you are sitting somewhere, right, and you want to change, and you are raising your hands and moving your hands in a awkward way. It will not feel comfortable to others and even to you.
This is extremely revolutionary that you just they just got rid of the controller totally.
Means, think of this, right? Like they thought your eyes will be your cursor,
Yeah.
natural hand movement will be your click event, right?
Yeah.
Forget about that. Think of this, right? How are you going to type? So
Yeah.
now they have integrated wherever you have to write Siri, you just say it to Siri and Siri is going to type it for you.
Yeah. You
Like
can
such an
dictate it.
amazing thing. You can dictate it completely, right? So you don't need a keyboard, you don't need a mouse, right?
They do
Um,
have a virtual keyboard also. Like
yes,
I think for coding and if you want to be very precise, I think some
yes.
people might prefer keyboard. So they do have virtual keyboard. But yeah, you are right. Like
So
it is very intuitive. At least that's how it seemed like in the demo.
like your eyes are cursor as well as they can select things if you just focus it for a couple of more seconds. I think that is the beauty of Apple products, right? When you buy it, you get end-to-end complete feature set. It is not half-baked or broken feature, right?
They don't make their customers do the testing for them, which is something that I love. Yeah, like you appreciate it even more the fact that Apple was supposed to release this device maybe 1.5, 2 years back, but they kept delaying it. And thank God, like they
Yeah.
delayed it and they launched it with such an amazing demo that we are all like mind blown, right? Yeah, so we talked about gestures, and I think another unique part of the demo was the whole experience in AR and VR. And I thought Apple took a very thoughtful approach to how they designed the whole experience, be it switching back and forth between the real world and the virtual world, the whole ability to quickly expand the virtual world that you are seeing. Yeah, what did you think about the experience?
Whenever you wear these headsets, bulky headsets, basically you get disconnected from world.
Yeah,
And even if someone is in the room next to you, you probably like, even they feel that they are disconnected from your attention, right? And if you want to connect to them, you probably have to remove this bulky headset. And with this headset that was launched, Vision Pro, they have this see-through, pass-through, like, so when you are in a augmented reality experience, someone in the room, he can see your eye, he can track your eye movements, right? He can see where you are looking, right? So if you want to talk to that person, you probably don't have to remove your headset. And it is also easy for the other person to connect with you, just like talk to you, right? um,
yeah.
so I think, if you see, experience wise, this is an amazing experience for the customer, because they literally they made sure that you don't have to remove the device. to
Yeah.
go into the AR VR world and come out of AR VR world,
Yeah.
right? That is one of the coolest experiences for the customer. One more I will like to touch base was
Just
the
to just to
movie.
add on to like the thing that you said, yes, I think that was again like a very thoughtful approach to design. And I actually compared it to noise cancelling headphones. Noise cancelling headphones, you have a button, you press it, and then immediately you stop listening to any kind of noise, ambient noise around you, right? And then if somebody gets close to you, you can just press another button and then you can hear them, right? Most of the
Yes,
advanced or little premium noise cancelling headphones have this feature. So I thought that it was very similar to that.
yes.
And obviously the like seeing able to see somebody's eyes while they are wearing the headset is a great feature. It actually is a lot better than just seeing like an opaque device in front of you. Few people have been saying that this looks a little bit creepy. People wearing headsets and their eyes like showing from inside that. But I think the devices might eventually get much smaller and less obstructive, and the experience will look much more natural going forward. So yeah, that's what I thought about this.
The second experience that I saw was like, I think in our last episode we discussed about creating virtual workstations, right?
Yeah.
Man, I saw this demo and I was like, either they are listening to Ankur and then designing their products.
Now you want to use one, right?
Yes, definitely. Like with this feature, oh my God, like I think Ankur, you already have a lot of Apple ecosystem in your home, right?
Yeah.
I think you should not wait for it. You should just probably go and register this.
I am hoping that once this thing gets launched, my employer will basically give one to every employee.
Wow.
Because I actually think like that's what most of the companies that are smart would do that, because $3,500 is basically nothing for a company if you are employing workers who are working in tech. Yeah, just give them one of these devices. Like their productivity can skyrocket with a
There
device
are,
like this.
yeah, before you jump on to that conclusion, Ankur, I will like to bring you back and say this device that has only 2 hours of battery. Are you okay with your teammates and everyone in the company working for 2 hours?
I mean, I am okay with working for 2 hours. I don't know about my employer. That part I am
So
actually not very clear about, right? So the battery pack will give you 2 hours of battery life, but then it also says that you can plug it uh, for like unlimited power, right? Does it mean that it will have something like a MacBook where you can plug it to the power outlet and then you can just use it indefinitely?
So I don't know if you can use it indefinitely, but definitely there are two modes, right? One is completely on the battery pack, and
Yeah.
the other one is where you plug it in and use it. To be honest, I am not sure how comfortable it will be to plug it in and use it, right?
Hmm.
I'm not sure on that because at that point you are basically like iPhone, right? And if we say, oh, you plug the iPhone and then only you can use it, probably you are not gonna be happy with that, right? So
Yeah.
this device is very similar to that, where you want to be very, it should be very convenient, right? If you want to go somewhere, you wear it, you go there, and if you
Yeah.
want to have an experience, you experience it in that place, right? So that I think I consider this 2 hours battery limitation to be a big limitation right now.
I
But
actually compare it more to a MacBook. So, MacBook MacBook's battery life right now is obviously not 2 hours; it's much more. But like I think when I initially started using MacBook, the battery life used to be like without the power outlet, like plugged in, it will be about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, right? So you typically when you are working, you typically keep it charged, and then if you're going to a meeting, you'll take it and then you'll maybe have a 1 hour meeting and then come back to your desk again, charge it, right? So I'm I'm actually thinking this will probably be something like that, right? Wherein if you are at your desk and you are working, you'll probably keep it charged. And then if
Mhm.
you're going to another place, you're going to a park or going to a meeting room, you'll carry the battery pack, which is like very small and very, very portable. And you can just carry it with you, use it for a couple of hours, come back and charge it again. I'm thinking like that's how probably they are thinking about how people will use it. So yeah,
Yeah.
you wanted to talk about any other experience that you thought was great?
One last experience I want to talk about is using this device for FaceTime. So one thing that came in my mind was, let's say if all everybody on FaceTime is wearing this, right?
Hmm.
And how am I going to see them, right? I don't want to see a person wearing this headset and having FaceTime with me, right? So I went and I searched how they are doing it. And basically, they are creating a virtual avatar for you, right? So basically, they create a replica, like a twin for you, right? Like they scan
Hmm.
your face and everything. But now the problem with this is, if I'm doing FaceTime, probably I'm not looking at real faces of anyone.
Yeah.
Like we were trying to, like, I do FaceTime with my family, right? I do FaceTime with my friends, and the whole purpose is to connect via having those facial gestures and smile and natural smile and connecting, right? And in this, basically, I am talking to like three or four avatars of them, and I literally I don't know how they are feeling at that point. Uh, like because usually there is a term called face reading, right? You read someone's face and
Yeah.
try to find the emotions behind it, or you
Yeah.
can like you. It's kind of a part of body language reading, right? So
What is
I
the why? I actually didn't understand that part very well. Like, why would you create an avatar of yourself?
so think of this, right, Ankur, you and me, we want to do FaceTime, right? And we
Hmm.
both use this device. So
Hmm.
today, the way we talk with each other, we are in our natural thing. We just change the camera to front facing and we talk with each other, right? But in this world where you are wearing these headsets, you don't
Or you
want
could be
to
somebody else.
you don't want to see me wearing this headset and doing FaceTime with you,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
It doesn't make any sense, right? So
Hmm.
now I was like, in the demo that they showed if you wear this headset and you can see screen of other people,
Hmm.
that means those other people are not using this device.
Right. 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 Yes.
What if even those people are using that device? Like you don't want to see them wearing that headset, right?
Hmm.
And basically in the FaceTime, that's the reason you will be not seeing your real self. You they will form a avatar for you, your facial avatar,
Hmm.
and other people will be able to see that.
Yeah.
So I think
Because
that
yeah, the unique, yes, makes sense now. Because the unique thing about this device is that usually in a MacBook or in an iPhone, you either keep the MacBook little far from you so that it can capture you, or the iPhone you hold in your hand, it can capture you. But this device is literally sitting on your face.
yes,
So there's no way for it to capture your entire face, at least live. So yeah, the avatar thing makes a lot of sense. Okay. Now I
it
understand.
makes sense, but it is not very friendly, right? Like when you say
Yeah, yeah, right.
experience wise, right? That was one of the experiences where I thought, like, to be honest, I don't have any good solution here, right? Like,
Hmm.
and I think many, like, a lot of their engineers might have thought how we can do this, but to
It's
be
a
honest,
trade-off right now.
it's a trade-off that you have to create an avatar and you have to interact with the avatar, right? So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, that's what do you think, Ankur? Do you have any unique experiences that you found useful or
Um, I I thought what was very cool is like in the demo they showed meditation app experience wherein this person starts meditating and there is this like a spherical shape. It's slowly expanding into the room, right? And slowly you can transform. whatever you are viewing from like an augmented experience to a completely virtual experience. You can actually see like 360-degree the sky above. uh, all that I thought was very very magical experience. uh, and Apple, at least in the demo, they showed it in a way that felt like, okay, I want to experience it, right? So it was very very immersive from what I saw. And the there is spatial audio, so it would, I'm hoping that it would give you a extremely 3D audio experience as well, in addition to the visual experience. I thought like experience wise this was great. And you talked about the whole the headband, the quality of the headband, the material of it. So that would be very comfortable. And they are, the battery pack is separate, so the that reduces the weight of the headset significantly. So I think this will be much more comfortable for you to carry around. So that again improves the whole experience. You can use it for longer periods of time. And then I think in the specs, when we discussed the specs, we didn't talk about the displays. The displays are apparently just each display is the size of a stamp, but they pack as many pixels as a 4K TV. I think
Wow.
the number is like 23 million pixels in
Wow.
such small displays. So the text and the images are extremely crisp. So all those things really help in making the experience extremely immersive.
One more experience that I found very like, this is something that many people will not think, right? Only Apple can think about this. So you can watch a movie in this, right?
Yeah,
You can, and you can watch, literally watch a movie in an augmented reality kind of like, it's your room, it's your living room, and you are projecting on a wall, right? So the light effects from the screen will be shot on your surroundings,
yeah,
as if that screen is really on the wall. And how, like, in today, if you watch a movie at your home, you can feel the, like, the colors of the surrounding changing according to the movie, right?
yeah.
And I was like, if they have went till the depth of this, like the experience, right? How someone should experience this. Um, I
There's
loved
a
it
lot.
actually.
There's a lot of scope for creativity there. I think they
Yes.
touched a little bit on it. I think they showed like a small clip of a dinosaur coming out of the screen into the room. That, I think there will be a lot of experiences that will build on top of it. Another
I
thing is maybe related to what you're saying was, in the demo they were showing like the screens inside the virtual reality world, and then there was this like very small things that makes this experiences great was the shadow of the screen, right? It was falling on the, it seemed like it was falling on your room's floor. And that that was like amazing to me that they
it,
kept
it
those
makes it
small
feel
things in
more
mind.
real, right?
Yes, yes.
So that's like, I think that's the whole goal, right? When you are in AR, VR world or in a real world, you don't feel that much of difference or disconnect, right? So
Yeah.
I think they have done an amazing job over there. One thing I will like to point here is this device is amazing for a solo experience.
Hmm.
So if you want to work, right, you can project your screens and start working. If you want to watch a movie, you can probably just put this headset and watch a movie. If you want to watch a game, you can do that. But as a group experience, I still think this device doesn't, like, I think we have seen this, right? When we are in a group and we watch something, we remember it for a longer time, right? That
Hmm.
connection, like, to be honest, I remember a couple of movies that I saw with my brother, right? I still remember
Hmm.
those movies and forget about the movie part, but I really enjoy the experiences, right? That
Hmm.
we had shared that point of time. Um, I think that part is gonna be missing in this experience.
Hmm.
So you can have a big screen, you can watch a movie, Probably like there is a scenario where everybody in the family is watching that movie and coming together. Do you
That's what is
think
going
that
to happen.
do you think like today we have phones? Do you think we do the same things on phone and say, okay, let's start our phone and watch the same thing? Nobody is gonna.
It's a new. It's difficult to say. I think I get your point, but I think it's a totally new form factor, right? So I think I can imagine a family of four, mom, dad, two kids, sitting in the living room with four devices and watching the same movie, and maybe even like their friends living hundreds of thousands of miles away, like doing a watch party. Like there is this watch parties, right? So you can do a watch party together and have the same experience in the virtual world. I think all those things will become very common. In general, I feel devices, like if you look at phone or laptops, computers, mostly devices have a, by default they can be a little isolating to others, because what do we do with phone, right? We just stare at the phone, and instead of maybe talking to the person next to us, right? I'm not like passing any judgment as to like whether it is right or wrong, but that's what we do, right? So because I think devices want your full attention. Um, so yeah, I don't know, like this is a good question, and something I think we'll start experiencing, and we'll see where it takes us.
I will give you one small example. What happens with me?
Yeah.
Me and my kid, right? We always have a very big argument on Friday night movies.
Hmm.
And yeah, we just like we start a movie like and for 90 minutes we watch it and then we go to bed, right? And
Yeah.
this is kind of a ritual on Fridays for us. I will tell you that small discussion of like argument of 15-20 minutes, it's one of the most fun argument,
Right.
right? Because he's trying to convince me the movie that he wants and I'm trying to convince him the movie that I want to watch, right?
Right.
We like if we have these AR VR devices, he's gonna say, "Okay, Dad, you watch your thing. I'm gonna watch my own thing." So no more arguments, no more discussions, right? So
Okay, so we discussed about the specs of the device, gestures, experiences, and mostly I think we would rate Apple very highly on those factors. But now let's talk about the point on which I think many people are a little conflicted, the price of the device. So the Apple priced the device at $3,500, and there could be, I'm sure, additional cost on top of it depending on any additional accessories you buy for this device, which you typically have to for any kind of Apple device. So we are probably talking about like $4,500, right, for one device. What was your reaction when you saw the price?
first of all, I am kind of a person who tries to value everything, right? Like I want to whatever we pay, do we get a value out of it, right? So when you said that like compare the price for this, right? First of all, there is no other product where we can compare this, right? So whatever you put the price tag on this, it's a unique product. That's why there is no comparison. But on the other hand, let's say tomorrow if I go ahead and buy this device and I spend 3,500 and plus couple of like few $100s more for the accessory, right? What am I going to use this for? Like that is the question. Like when I spend 3,500, until unless it is just a throwaway money for someone, okay, well and good. You use it, you play with it, and then you keep it somewhere in your room, right? But if someone is spending 3,500 dollars into this, are you gonna use it regularly? I don't know. Are you gonna be productive, more productive with this? Maybe with the workstation ecosystem that is coming along with this, maybe it's really useful. The most problematic area that I saw was there are no apps for this right now. So if I'm buying this just to make my workstation bigger, I that 3500 doesn't justify, right? And to be honest, in today's world, I don't have that problem, to be honest, right? Like it is not a need of the hour where I want bigger screens to be more productive at work, right? So it's kind of a good thing to have. But to be honest, I will not love to work with giant screens. Like think of me writing a code and I'm looking at a wall and writing it. I can't imagine that way, right? So maybe a little bit bigger screen is good for me. Definitely, I can change that in that
So
experience.
you're not buying this device at $3,500.
Means there is no reason for me to go ahead and buy this apart from the curiosity and experience part of it.
Okay.
Like I'm really curious to see the movement and selecting a object and tapping it. That's the only thing that I want to experience. But does 3500 justify that? So it is not for masses for sure.
Yeah. This is not a mass device.
Yeah. What was your
Definitely.
reaction when you
Yeah, I
heard it?
was little surprised,
Okay.
but you remember, right? The price was another thing that we discussed in our previous AR
Yeah.
VR episode, which was we knew that this is going to be at least three times the price of Meta's Quest Pro. So we were expecting it around $3,000, and Apple exceeded our expectations with the price. They priced it at 3,500. But yeah, like Apple is a premium brand, right? They always want to price their devices. It's an aspirational brand, right? So you want it to be something that people save or maybe like take a loan to actually purchase. And this was also the pro device. I think Apple will come up with something like a non-pro device which might be a little less expensive. I still think it will be somewhere around 2000 to $2,500, still quite expensive. So yeah, price wise, I obviously like this is quite an expensive device. Will it justify? I think at least the demo kind of and the specs and the demo, I think, kind of justifies the price. So I was reading an article which said that just to manufacture the device for Apple, it's costing them $1,500 because they are using very high end materials, chips, so many camera sensors, etc. So it just costing them $1,500. And then on top of that, there is obviously the R&D cost, all these years of development that has happened and all that. So yeah, I think the pro is initially it's going to be purchased by a lot of early adopters, and then Apple is definitely going to have a lot of payment plans so that it will be easy for people to kind of purchase this device. I was actually asking one of my friends about what they thought about it. So we discussed, and then I asked him, like, "Will you buy this device?" And he was like, "I will buy this device at $7,000, double the price."
Oh, nice.
He was like, "Are you kidding me?" Yes, I'll buy it in a heartbeat. Right? So yeah, so there are many people who are going to just buy this, right? So they are not going
Yeah,
to care
means
too much about the
I,
price.
I'm not saying they will not buy it. Do you think they will use it?
At least like if if we trust the demo, they said that the experience is going to be very very comfortable. If the experience is comfortable, they are probably going to be using it, right? Like even if they use it like couple of hours a day, I think that is going to be good enough. So especially the experience is going to be like magical, right? So I think if there is a company which can pull off a headset priced at 3,500 $4,000, it's Apple. uh,
Only Apple, I
so
think.
yeah, so price wise, will I buy it? I don't think I'm going to buy it on day one. I'll probably have to, I'll probably like wait for people to try it out, give feedback, maybe try out at one of the shops, or if a friend has bought it, hear feedback from people. And then it would take some time for me to kind of get convinced. And then if I really think that this device is amazing, this device is going to make my life better, more productive, yeah, I might take the plunge, but I won't be like one of the early adopters of this device. So yeah.
I think for me, I will definitely love to experience it, right?
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I want to see the adoption rate first. Adoption of the ecosystem. It is a good ecosystem, but I want more apps, integration with Vision OS. Um, if we have more apps, and then how is the marketplace, right? Right? Everything that you want in this virtual world or AR VR world, to pay for that.
Every app.
Every app, you have to pay for that.
Oh, there are no
So
free. There won't be any free apps.
they will give you some free apps, but usually the ones that you want, like
Yeah.
my the ones that you want, like there is a simple game called Quest Pro, right? There is a lightsaber, and then you hit the things with lightsaber, right? That
Right.
game was like around $29 or $30.
Oh, yeah.
And usually, when you buy, there are a couple of free games with Quest Pro, but eventually everybody wants this lightsaber game, and you pay $30 on top of that. So I am worried that Apple, after buying this expensive device, there will be cost associated on every app that you purchase. I don't know how the ecosystem Apple is going to build around it.
So one thing, the app uh, ecosystem is actually a good point, because what Apple is saying is most of the apps on iPhone and iPad that exist today will be compatible with Vision OS and Vision Pro. So, which is good, but they are not built for this spatial experience, right? So, I think that's why Apple actually announced this device in the Worldwide Developer Conference. And what they really want to do is, they have now announced this device, and they said that they are going to launch it in early 2024. So let's say, even if it is January, so we are at least 6 to 7 months away. So what Apple wants the developers to do between now and January of next year is to like develop many apps which are specifically built for the whole AR or VR experience, so that, like like the specific point that you mentioned, right? Will there be enough apps? So Apple would want to make sure that developers are really on board and they are developing on this. So yeah, that's actually a good point that we should kind of, I felt was an important milestone. So if there are developers in the world who want to build a company or want to build something very special, this is a great moment, because there was this iPhone moment, right? When so many developers, actually the developers who actually built a lot of iPhone apps, and if your app was good, you could get a lot of traction, because that was a
Yeah,
new platform. There were not a lot of developers. Now it is extremely crowded. Now it's very difficult for your app to stand out. But imagine in 2009, 2010, if you could learn how to build iPhone apps, there was a gold mine for you. I think that moment right now is for Vision Pro or the Vision OS. So if you are a
yeah,
developer looking to make something amazing, this is the time. Go build a few apps on Vision OS, and Apple will promote you, because there are
yeah.
not many developers. Uh, so
Yes,
I think there will be a lot of startups around this whole ecosystem of Vision OS and
Vision OS.
Pro. Yeah, a
I
lot of
think,
companies would be formed, I think, around this whole ecosystem.
yeah, completely agree with that. I think this is the same moment where iOS was launched.
So, what do you think? What's going to happen once this thing is actually available for people to buy? How does this
I
impact
think,
Apple?
once this is available for masses, we are gonna see a world where it will be a norm, right? Like today, when you go to someone, probably you don't even ask whether you have a phone or not. You just consider everyone has a mobile phone today, a smartphone, right?
Yeah.
Um, I think in future, um, this is going to be a norm where people will expect, okay, just go in this world and do this experience.
Hmm.
Like it will be so casual, right? It reminds me of a movie which is called Ready Player One,
Yeah.
and in that, basically, there is this guy. They hide an egg, and anyone who finds this egg gets the whole fortune of the company's founder, right? So in that movie, I don't know if it is shown as positive or negative, but usually everybody wants to go and find that egg, right? Similarly, in future, I think if this there is a mass adoption for this product, I think and Apple is definitely the leader. With the movie that we saw, Apple is definitely the leader in this.
Yeah.
So I think people in future are going to talk about like, hey, just go to this world, try out this thing. It's so cool. And then probably when you get the device, maybe you are if you're carrying the device, you get the experience at that point. Or if you are at home, you kept the device at home, you will come back home and experience it.
I would agree with you. That I would say is that future is probably like 10 years away. I would say probably like that's the direction we are going towards. But in the next 1 to 3 years, what I see is I think Apple was ripe for a new device, right? Like Apple had the MacBook, did the iPhone, and iPhone launched in 2007. And since then, there has not been any major device that Apple has
Yeah,
launched, right? Nothing. What has it launched? Yeah, like AirPods and all. I don't count them as like major devices. They're more of like accessories to the
yeah,
iPhone. So I think we all were waiting for the next device. And to be honest, I think we were almost reaching the ceiling of smartphones.
yeah,
What more can you do? Like now you had like what, three cameras in the iPhone. Now you can't have 10 cameras.
yeah,
The pixel density is just amazing, like retina display. What else can we really do? Like you cannot make the iPhone any bigger, right? It would become an iPad. So I think we had reached the saturation point, and iPhone 14 sales were actually lower than what Apple was projecting, right? So I think the stock was impacted a little bit during that time. So this device has to succeed for Apple
yeah,
to succeed for the next 10 years. And I think Tim Cook has so far done a good job with the release and the demo and everything. So I feel Apple is going to do the Apple Pro, the Vision Pro next year, early next year. They're going to sell a ton of these devices. They're going to launch a non-pro version, which will be a little less expensive. I think most of us will have that device.
mm,
Then eventually they will, with economies of scale, they will be able to bring down the price of the pro device and the non-pro device as well. So this I feel would become the new iPhone, the cash cow for Apple if they can play it well. So that's this is actually good news for the Apple stock owners, right? And I think whenever Apple does something, there'll be like bunch of companies who will do something similar or complementary to that. So I think we are going to see a proliferation of companies which will manufacture this kind of head-mounted displays. So yeah, so there will be it will which will be good. Like there will be a lot of competition, and Apple will take the premium market, people who can afford expensive devices, but then everybody would want to experience something similar. So there will be a lot of companies who will kind of take the budget market for like similar kind of device. So talking about competition, I think we should talk about Meta, because this week has been the last 7 to 10 days has been about all about AR VR, right? So Zuckerberg anticipated that Apple is going to launch the Vision Pro, and just I think 3 days before, the WWDC event. They launched the Quest 3 and slashed the price of Quest 2. So now the Quest 3, which is the latest generation device, is only $500, and I think the Quest 2 is, I want to say, like $300. They
Mm,
obviously have the Pro device, which is $1,000.
yeah.
Again, their Quest 3 device is not ready to be sold right now, but it's like a release. I think it's coming out later this year. So the competition is heating up, and the the war between Apple and Facebook is getting even more hotter. So
I will tell you one thing on this, right? Apple, in their whole WWDC event, it used two words. One was AI, which is the buzzword right now, and second was metaverse. Even though they were launching Vision Pro, they didn't even mention metaverse, and they
yeah,
didn't even mention AI. So this is the power of Apple, right? They don't follow the buzzwords, right? They make the buzzwords. So when you said let's do a comparison between Quest 3 or Quest Pro with Vision Pro, I think Vision Pro. You said they have 500 patents,
five
like
thousand
5,000. Okay,
just
so you
for
said
Vision Pro.
just for Vision Pro you have 5,000 patents. You remember, right? This iPhone, they have this rounded corners. That was one of the patents.
Yeah,
That was a game changer patent, I will tell you.
yeah.
All other devices were trying to have that rounded corners, but they were not able to, right? And by that time, they
Hmm.
reached iPhone 14. Similarly, we will find few of the patents in Vision Pro that others will love to use it. Let's say simple, I don't know, by the way, the see-through eyes, right? If this is a patent in Vision Pro's bucket, and now other devices are not able to use it, like you are out of the game, you are out of competition,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah,
So I think it is very hard to compete with Apple in this space. It is
yeah,
really really hard. You can have some good ecosystem, like I know Meta has some power about the whole social experience, right? But still, when you come to hardware device level, you cannot you cannot beat Apple. And
yeah.
that's what I was saying. Like if Apple is able to come up with a good ecosystem and all the ports and everything, people are gonna enjoy it actually.
It is the power of compounding, which I think is at play here. Like similar to like saving, getting interest, compound interest on money that you have saved, right? Like you keep doing it for couple of decades, and the money grows exponentially. Apple has been at this game for like what, more than like 40-45 years,
Yeah.
and all the technology that they have been working on, they can like use it, right? For Meta is a much younger company, and most of Meta's journey has been in the social space on the web, not so much on the device hardware space, right? So for Meta, it's a really really tough challenge. You are right. Meta actually tried to do a Facebook phone. I think in
Yeah.
2010 or 2011, they worked with HTC to launch the Facebook phone. Didn't work out. It's always
Yeah.
very difficult for, there is a DNA of every company, and for them to like move away from that and do something totally different is very difficult. But I also feel Meta does not have any other choice. It has to control the device. Otherwise, it is very vulnerable to companies like Apple.
Yes.
So I think Zuck and the Meta team has to make this play. So yeah, like getting into device is very very tough. Amazon also tried to do the Amazon phone, right? Didn't work out very well.
Yeah.
Though Amazon has been mixed in terms of success. It has done Kindle very
Yeah.
well. It has done decent in Alexa.
Mhm.
But yeah, phone and this kind of deep tech devices are a different ball game. So um, yeah, the competition is very good actually. I would still say that Meta can be like a good contrarian play for
Yeah.
people. I never count Mark Zuckerberg out of anything. He's a very
Yes.
very uh, like visionary founder, right? So yeah,
I
it's going
think
to be ultimately good for all of us having this
they have an
competition.
advantage on the app side.
Yes, they
So
are ahead in terms
they
of
are
that.
way ahead in the metaverse building, the app part of it, social interactions, virtual worlds, and that is what Apple is missing today, right? But
Yeah.
I think, yeah, quickly Apple is gonna like the developers are gonna jump in on this bus of Vision Pro, and I think soon we will see apps on Apple as well.
I heard about, so I was reading about like which companies would benefit or will have some kind of impact from this whole Apple's
Hmm.
move into AR VR. So the most interesting mention was of Disney, right? So
Yeah,
Disney's Bob Iger actually came on the stage during WWDC and talked about like how Disney and Apple are partnering for making sure that the Disney catalog is available on the Vision Pro, etc. And this article was actually mentioning that there is a possible play that Apple might end up acquiring Disney.
yeah.
Disney
Oh,
is like
really?
Disney is worth like $160 billion,
Wow,
which is a giant in itself. Apple
giant itself.
has
Yeah, yeah,
more than $160 billion in its bank to actually do that. That
wow.
might be like a uh, that will be the biggest acquisition ever,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think.
yeah. Ever, ever.
Right? But
Never heard about 160 billion acquisition, to be honest. And by the way, right? There is already a streaming war going on,
yeah, which
and I think Disney is trying to play into this Vision Pro thing so that uh,
advantage would
they have the early adopter advantage, right?
mm.
By the time other players, other streaming platforms onboard to this, they already have a upper hand, right? So I think that is also one of the factors.
Yeah, and that's a teaser for our listeners that we want to do an episode on the streaming wars as well. Yeah,
Sure.
if you want to listen to that, make sure that you are subscribing to our channel. So that's something that we are also super excited to talk about. I think we had a good discussion. We kind of went through our reactions of the Vision Pro, talked about the specs, gestures, experience. What does the future look like? The war heating up between Apple and Meta, the ecosystem, etc. I think we had a good coverage of this whole Vision Pro launch from Apple. Very, very exciting, also very timely. And folks who have not seen our episode on AR VR, I'll leave a link in the description. Please go check it out. It gives a good overview of what is AR, what is VR. We do a dive deep into this whole immersive technology. I talk about what's going on currently, what's the future. So that can be like a good accompanying view to this episode. So if you want, feel free to check that out. And that's all for this episode. And but don't leave. We will be talking about a short segment that we want to do going forward. So any of you who are interested in stocks and the financial market would probably like it. So yeah, so that's it for uh, the Vision Pro episode, Apple's WWDC. And now we are going to spend maybe 5 minutes talking about this stock related segment that we want to start. So, Vishal, you want to give us a maybe an overview and introduction of what this is?
Ankur and me, we are basically gonna have $10,000, a virtual $10,000 assigned, and on the very first day of a month, we will pick few stocks and we are gonna enter it in one of the spreadsheets that we have created. So basically, at the start of the month, we are gonna consider that we are gonna spend that $10,000 and gonna buy some stocks, and it's kind of a fantasy stock play where we will check whose picks has gained more, or which pick was the best pick out of all the picks that we did. uh, and there are some small rules like we don't want to include future and option tradings, no crypto into play, uh, and basically, yeah, very simple rules. So if you love to see how stock market tech stocks do in stock market, and what Ankur and me we are thinking about it, and it's a small play kind of.
Yeah, so as Vishal said, we got like $10,000 in virtual money, and we could choose any stock or ETF at the start of the month, right? So we picked our stocks or ETFs on 1st of June. There were no limits on the number of picks, so you could put all your money in one stock, or you could do like 10 stocks, or you could choose not to put your money in any of the stocks. So you could just sit with cash, right? If you are anticipating that the markets or the stocks are going to go down in that month. And then we would basically, this is like a fantasy stock picking, as Vishal said. So we would compare it. You can compare it every day or like end of the month. Whoever has either made the most gain or least loss is basically the winner for that month, right? And yeah, that's it. And you cannot purchase or sell any stocks during the month. You can do that again at the end of the month, right? So we did this, and let's look at the picks. Maybe I'll show my pick first. All right. So these are my picks. So I can just quickly talk through the picks that I had. So purchased 16 Apple, and I was actually expecting Apple stock to move up with the Vision Pro launch, but I don't think the Apple stock, it was kind of sideways, I think, after the WWDC. And then I also purchased Meta. I think I'm bullish on Meta, so I purchased Meta. I purchased Nvidia. Nvidia has a lot of was having a lot of momentum in the last month, and I think all the development in AR, VR, or AI would directly benefit Nvidia. That was basically why I chose Nvidia. And then I also picked a little unusual stock, Airbnb, and basically I just love this company Airbnb, and that was one of the reasons. And then summers are coming. I think people are going to travel and book a lot on Airbnb, so that was the rationale for picking Airbnb. And then I also put some money on Costco. This was kind of a hedge for me, just to like make sure that I didn't lose a lot of money if the market went down, because Costco is generally quite stable. uh, so yeah, so that's what I chose. Totally out of $10,000, I basically invested the entire amount, $9,980. I just have $20 in cash, and overall I'm not doing very well. I think I'm already at a loss of $210, and it is what, maybe like four or five trading sessions. So I'm in red on most except Airbnb. So that's where I am. So
Cool. Yeah.
Vishal, you talk about
Yeah.
your.
So I think my picks for this month were mostly based on the AI wave, right? So because of that, I think AI hardware is something that is going to pick up this month. That is the reason I chose AMD. AMD is one of the players which is gonna. I think currently it is not like it is undervalued currently, right? So I think it has some room to move up. So I picked just 10 stocks of AMD, uh, which cost me around $1,000, $1,100. Then I picked five stocks of Nvidia. Uh, Very similar play, right? AMD and Nvidia both are the chip companies. Uh, then I picked QQQ. This is one of the ETFs for all the tech companies. I picked five stocks, not many, just five stocks of that. And the reason for picking this was overall, I believe tech will do better this month. Tech companies are going to do better this month. Uh, and my bullish play is on Apple. And to be honest, I had the same thought process what Ankur mentioned. Maybe I thought after WWDC, Apple will pick up more because of the launch of Vision Pro. Actually, I really believe Vision Pro was a great product, and even the demo went very well. But I think Wall Street will not look at as a money making thing right now. So that is why it is not factored in, and that is kind of a learning for me also, right? Like when we are doing this month on month basis, maybe Apple is a great pick for long term, but when we are doing this month on month, I have to be more cognizant on the pick and just not think about the long term, right? So
When Apple would have gone up if Tim Cook had mentioned that you could start buying the device from next week or next month, then Apple
month,
would have
yeah.
shot up 10%. Because they said it's
So
going to be next year, market knows that okay,
it is the
it's too far
wrong,
away.
yeah, far away. So yeah, these are my four picks. Actually, I ran out of 10,000 budget. I actually was trying to do five picks, but yeah, later I found out that it is going more than 10 limit. Unfortunately, all four picks that I have today, market took a big nosedive because of the Canadian interest rate hike. So Canadian government they did an interest rate hike after 4 months because the inflation is
Mm.
not cooling down there,
Mm.
and that reflected that might be Fed in US is also gonna do a rate hike, and that's how the market took a U-turn. So unfortunately, all the four picks are in red right now. I am in almost -$118, but to be honest, I'm still hopeful that something good will happen.
Cool. So we because we discussed about stocks, we should just give a disclaimer that this is no financial advice. Purchase stocks or trade stocks at your own risk. Do your own research. So yeah, please don't follow what we are doing. We are actually not purchasing this stock. These are just notional
Yeah,
virtual money. So yeah, that done with the disclaimer, and we are also going to publish this uh, spreadsheet on our website, thetechbanter.com, and you guys can go there and check this out if you want. And yeah, we just hope that we'd share this with you, something interesting, and we'll make sure that we spend a couple of minutes at the end of every episode to track how we are doing, who is winning and who is losing. So hopefully that will be fun for all of you.
cool. Yeah, with that, I think we are done with today's episode. See you everyone in the next one. Bye.
Bye bye.